Welcome back, man. 2020 version. Keep it a buck. In partnership with Hall Mills. We here in the studio.
A lot of these offers don't be that real, so it's not committable.
That feel like when everybody's getting their turn and it's not yours. What they call you? The Godfather, New Jersey.
You powerful, man. I ain't gonna brag, but that's what they said. I ain't say that.
Keep it a buck. 2020 version here. We in the building. We got Coach Rashid. We got a new host with us. Team Do It. Savon Huggins.
What's going on?
We got Big Body Nas.
Natty Nas, two times.
What they call you? Godfather, New Jersey.
Powerful, man.
So
I ain't gonna brag, but that's what they said. I ain't say that.
we gonna get into some things today, man. Just had a great interview with Jocelyn Brooks. Now we got Coach Rashid here, man, the DB coach at DePaul.
Defensive coordinator, gotta get that right. He paid his dues.
Oh, my bad.
He made the news.
DC.
He paid his dues, baby.
We working.
The DC. So I caught y'all against Bergen, man. That was, you had to make a defensive stand to win that, right?
Yes, indeed.
Whose idea was the we spank they boots and all of that?
We smoke they boots! We smoke they boots! We smoke they boots! We smoke they boots! I love it! I love it! We can't be stopped! We can't be stopped! We can't be stopped! We can't be stopped! I love it! I love it!
All right, so pretty much I played a lot of arena football, semi-pro football. So the team that I played for, that was kind of like our chant. So you know the kids, they try to test you, they Google you, YouTube you, and they saw that. It was like, Coach, the first team we smoke, we need that. So that happened maybe 2-3 years ago, and then it's like a tradition now for us. So we get that, the big win, or we got to obviously blow somebody out. Yeah.
I like that.
I do.
So you jumped out on them. Y'all jumped out on them big. What I also knew, I was speaking to Nucci, and you guys scrimmaged them kind of off the record. Like a lot of people didn't know about the little like joint practice, so they didn't give you guys much chance to win that game. Right. But those who, I guess you have some confidence in your locker room because it kind of went your way in the summertime in the scrimmage.
Right.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, it was like we couldn't find a scrimmage, so we had like the Campanellis, they do their thing with their brothers, so we ended up having like a little practice, and what it did for us, like you said, it gave us confidence, especially in the trenches. We're obviously a smaller school than a lot of the other schools, so a lot of our linemen go both ways, and they held their own. So once those guys got the confidence, when it was time to play them, it was like, all right, we got them. So yeah.
Let me ask you something. How you feel about, like how you just said with the smaller schools? What's the difference between like a DePaul or St. Peter's or Joe's or Bosco? Is it, for me, when I watch, I'm looking at it, I might, not just particular DePaul, I might see y'all start off banging out and then be banging out. It looked like the depth. Yeah, the depth catch up with you guys.
Yeah, football, just speaking football-wise, that's really what it is, and, teams know that. Like, let's try to wear them out. If you look at the Bergen game, that long drive that they had, they said, we're just going to bring our big boys in and try to wear them out. So a lot of teams use that formula. Obviously, Joe's, they like to use that formula a lot. They always got the big horses. So going into it, we know it. So the way we train for that.
No, I noticed that because when watching the prep game, it was the game, they just ran the ball on you guys.
once they figure, you got to tire us out. So you got, one of our defensive ends, he's got to go against so-and-so, and then he got to turn right and go back around and play against so-and-so. Oh, Price?
What number is he?
Price is 34.
Yeah.
Number 34.
Yeah.
Guys we got guys out, probably ours from center to tackle, they got to go back and play defense. They don't come off the field. So that's usually how, teams know that. I would do that too. If you like, you don't have the depth, then this is what I'm going to do to you. So, yeah, that's usually what happens.
So a lot of your guys go both ways?
For the most part, yeah. But it's a good and a bad. It's a good thing, I would say, more so than a bad thing, because it helps with recruiting also. So now if you're one of those guys that played offense, as far as college.
Okay.
College.
Right.
So as far as college, now you have yourself on tape playing, two positions. If you're a DB and you're 5'10", you may be a better receiver. Right. But now you got film of you doing both. Prime example is Ronnie Hickman. He played both sides of the ball. So now it helps with his recruitment and say, okay, you may not be fast enough to play receiver at this level, but you can
Yeah,
Right.
Play DB.
And I'm sure speed is not a problem for him.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
And to your point, to the recruiting aspect of it, I think it's important. Like, no matter the school you go to, man, like the best players play. The best 11 are always on the field.
Right.
You know, and when it come down to, I remember when Bergen beat Prep a couple years ago, and they had their quarterback playing defense.
Right.
You know, and at the end of the day, the best guys need to be on the field. And I think as a coaching staff, you got to identify when the time is right for you to put the best 11 dudes on the field, and you're going to win, lose, or draw with those dudes, you know, and that right there, you know, shows the type of character when, like you said, when coaches come in and they talk about how tough this kid is. Well, he ain't played defense all year long, but we played him in this game. That right there might give him a couple more, you know, ups
give
right
him a
there.
jump,
Just you give him a jump just based off just you saying that, you know. So at the end of the day, you know, no matter the level, or you play in Texas, the best dudes got to get on the field, like no matter what happens, you know.
Gotcha.
You know, so I think it's important.
Teddy
said like
Afu.
to that. Yeah.
This year, he led, you know, he had over 1,000 yards. I played him at corner.
His yak, man, yards after the
I
catch.
said, yo, I need you right now. We had guys get out. He said, I need you. And he stepped up and played corner. You know, he didn't play a lot of corner because obviously he's such a threat on offense. But
What's he being recruited as?
receiver. He's a receiver. He's not a corner. He's a receiver.
He just committed, right, too?
Yeah, it's Stony Brook. Yep, Stony Brook.
Let me ask you something. So, if you had a kid, how would you advise him to, as far as picking the school? How does he go about picking the school?
As far as from high school to college, or from
We're gonna
youth
go.
to high school?
We're gonna go from youth to high school, and then if
Okay.
you want to take it there, you can go there.
Okay, so from youth to high school. Now I just want to give a disclaimer. I'm from New York, so I don't have a bias.
I'm from New York too. So
You know, I don't have a bias. Like I just know that from Jersey. You know, a lot of people from Jersey, they're very prideful into where they're from. You know, Newark, they're prideful. Me, I don't have a bias. Even though I coach at DePaul, I don't have a bias. So I just want what's best for our boys.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to if you're going the private school route, colleges come to Jersey, they're going to go to Bosco. They're going to go to Bergen. They're going to go to Joe's. They're going to go to St. Peter's. So as far as that exposure, you're going to get that. So that should be out the window. Now, when it comes down to what's the big topic as far as what parents are looking for is financials. If a school wants you, they already have in their mind what they're going to do for you. So that should be out of the question. The next thing what you should ask is, okay, I know about the Jalen Burgers. I know he has Wisconsin. I know he got Alabama.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
What about this guy? Where is he going? And is he going there for free? What's the situation? I want to know about the number 20 guy on your team. I don't care about, my son may not be Jalen Burger. So my question to you, coach, is what about the other guys? Where do they go to school?
Yeah.
How do you help those guys get into school? So that's one question. Another question is, my son is going to be in this school pretty much all day. How are the teachers? Do they give them extra help? Do they spend time with them? Things of that nature. Like, those are the questions when it comes to recruiting into the private school. Public school, and again, this is just me being outside looking in. Forget DePaul, forget.
Yeah.
This is just me outside looking in. I like what the public schools are starting to do, the West Sides, West Orange. I like what they're starting to do football-wise. Irvington, I like it. What about the other side? So as a parent, those are still questions you ask the public schools. Coach, all right, you got Tennessee coming here. Okay, I like that. You got Rutgers coming here. That's all cool. That's sweet. But what about the school part? Because, yeah, my son got offered, but can he get into school? So it doesn't matter. You know this.
Right.
Compliance is going, he can't even get into school. So that offer is done. It's out the window. So like, those are the type of questions I think parents transitioning from the youth to the high school need to ask. Forget about the college. That's going to come. Forget about the financials as far as the private schools, because if they want you, they're going to do what they got to do to make it happen. So it shouldn't even be a thing.
Let me ask you this. I remember, since we talking about recruiting, I'm talking about from high school to college now. I remember back in the day, I'm going to say back in the day.
You can say it. I'm 33, so.
Let's say, was it 2012, 13 at Bosco when Quan and them was there?
2010.
10. All right.
Yes.
And that from that frame, right? If you look around the big north then, right? Bosco had about 15 Division I, 18 Division I kids on one team, right? But the kids who was on the bench that wasn't playing, they were going 1AA, Stony Brook, different things like that, right? But if you go back even further deeper, and even in the same season, if you look at Paramus Catholic, before I even knew who Chris Partridge was.
Right.
So now I understand why Chris Partridge is high and going and be defensive coordinators and all these colleges and things like that, because they wasn't winning games then, and he was sending kids to college.
Right.
So if you, at St. Peter's Prep then, right? That's why Prep has the name. They were sending more kids to college than anybody and wasn't winning the state championship. Now that I'm looking at high school football, it's becoming it's down, whether it's the Big North or not. Is it because the public schools are getting more kids scholarship offers now, or is it? I'm trying to figure that out.
I think it's a combination of everything. Social media plays a big part of it also. So now, if a coach didn't have access to call or get in contact with a Greg Schiano, he can go on social media. I got so-and-so put his highlights up. Back then, it wasn't as prominent as it is now. So it makes it a little bit easier for the college coach to notice a kid or notice what's going on at Westside. I keep bringing up Westside because, my boy over there is doing his numbers. So it makes it a little bit easier to say, okay, what's going on over there? And as a good college recruiter, you better do your due diligence, because if you miss out on a kid and he ends up playing in your conference, you're going to have to answer to your head coach. So I got to get into what's going on over there.
Let me ask you this. So how often have you ran into a situation with, like, parents and players where they felt like their son projected at, like, in Alabama or Tennessee, and, you was like, maybe you were FCS or Division II player, like, how do you handle that as a coach and massaging that without being brutally honest? Because you want to be, but at the same time, you don't want to, hurt that relationship with that parent, because you think the kid's a great kid.
Right.
How do you kind of address those things when those kids are, asking or have these unrealistic, views of where they think they are, and you kind of have to, like, this is how it is for you, and you need to focus on this. So how do you handle that?
Well, I got that experience because I coached junior college, ASA College in Brooklyn. So I coached there. So I was kind of in between, dealing with the JUCO kids. So the best way, a lot of JUCO kids, everybody want to go D1. So the best way that worked for me is to be brutally honest. It's, okay, this is what it is. This is where your level of play at. And then you also have to get into detail as far as the other side of the business, the things that people don't want to talk about. Okay, you want to get there. I have a kid right now in a situation where he can go Division III, or he can be a preferred work-on at Division I. Okay, who wants you? Because if they want you, they're going to give you a better opportunity to play.
Right.
So that's one. Let's take that out the way. Two, are you going to have an opportunity to play football? Because that's what you trained hard for. That's what you did this. Are you going to have an opportunity to play football, get on the field? Whatever happens, it happens, as long as you get the opportunity. And then from there, that's how they make their decision. That's how I present it to them. So it's about going to school, playing football, getting a good education for as little money as possible. Simple. No matter where it is. Oh, coach, I got NFL gym. I have another kid. He's at a public school. I won't say his name. He's at a public school, but we keep in contact because that's just, we do. So he's like, coach, I want to play in the league. I need to go D1. I said, no, you don't. I said, go watch Monday Night Football. Half of those schools, you got to Google them.
Yeah.
Half of them, you got to, like, what? What school was that? So the NFL, if that's your dream, okay, they pay guys all year round to go find guys like that. So if that's your dream, don't worry about it. Go do your numbers at D2 because you're getting an opportunity. It's a good education, and it's as less money as possible, rather than just go being a number and say I went to Rutgers just because I went to Rutgers.
That's right.
And I think it's a big misconception about, when students take the preferred walk-on route. It is when they have a Division II school that wants to offer them some money, but they want to gamble on themselves as a PWO. And I think a lot of kids think because they see it on social, like, yo, this kid got a scholarship.
Right.
But you don't know, that kid was a redshirt senior.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That kid didn't get that scholarship as a freshman, sophomore in high school. He redshirted. This is his 5th year in college, and he's getting.
I want you to elaborate more on the PWO, because somebody actually hit me in my DM, and I'm like, "What's that?" You're like,
right.
So, I want you to tell more people, like, get the world up on it more of what comes from that? How long does it take? Do kids actually even get scholarships early, or do it normally happen late?
So preferred walk on is where you actually were actively getting recruited by that school, but they don't have enough scholarship money to give you.
Okay.
So that's different than, like, say if you get accepted into Rutgers or Tennessee and you go through the process of trying out for the team, because when you on campus they have walk-on tryouts. Like the kid from Alabama that was a corner a couple years ago, the kid Wallace. You try out at the school, you do the 4, you do the combine, and then they pick you out in one of the numbers. Like, that's a legit walk-on, like Rudy story, where the preferred walk-on is you were actively getting recruited in high school, but you didn't project on their board right then and there. So you go to the school. Now, again, they tell you compete and all of that, but a lot of kids don't understand, like, you won't get treated how you got treated in high school. Like, you on the, like, forget just playing scout, like, they don't look at you. And a lot of kids have to understand, when you take that preferred walk-on opportunity, just understand that nothing is going to be given to you. You're going to have to earn everything, literally everything, like, and don't expect anything. And if you go in it with that attitude, you can probably earn one, pretty, maybe by soft second, third year. But I don't want to sit here and tell you, it's by the 5th year. It's all about time. In college football, in NFL, it's all, like you said, it's all about time. And, like, it got to be the right coach that like you. You got to be the scout team receiver that's going against the number 1 dude that day in practice, and you go off on it. Like, it just got to be the timing, and you can't predict that.
Do they give you a legit shot? Is it a legit
It depends.
It's a gamble on yourself.
It is.
Like,
I was
Christian
always told,
he's at Rutgers. Christian, he's a preferred walk-on. He was a beast at Bosco, receiver.
Yeah.
He's a preferred walk-on. He ended up. It's a gamble on yourself.
Yeah, it is.
And like you said, it's timing. You never know how the card's gonna play out. That's why they call it a gamble.
I was told that as a preferred walk-on or walk-on period, you can't just do, like, you can't have an ill practice where you dominate. You got to do it over and over and over and over and over, and then they might notice you, and then you got to do it over and over and over again.
That's a fact.
So it's not like
as a PWO.
Yes.
You still gotta.
It's literally like, the best way I could put it is like a kind of a dosage of the movie Rudy, but like a better athlete. Like, you ain't getting treated like that, but to a point where, like, like, they don't treat you any differently with their class, but as far as the coaches view you as, they're investing in the guys that they paying money to go to school in. Like,
I understand.
If that dude is walking on playing over the scholarship dude, then the person who recruited that dude ain't doing their job.
Yeah.
So a kid with a PWO, is it a chance? Can he actually earn the scholarship?
Yes, absolutely.
No, I'm saying not for that university. I'm saying he could have got a scholarship at
Somewhere
Monmouth, or Wagner.
Yes.
Over being a PWO.
I'll give you a perfect example of that. One of my favorite backs in the Big North in the last 2 years, the kid Tashawn Brinson, was at Stony Brook, full ride. Left Stony Brook to go to Rutgers as a PWO. Or if you go on his social media, he says, "I bet on myself." So you have money in the bank, but I guess he got Big Ten dreams. So he's gonna go over there and the chips will fall where they
gamble. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
In college football is all about timing, man. It like, playing at the highest level, there's so many variables in this that you can't control. It's all timing. Like, it got to be at the right time, right place. Like, you got to have a good offensive line. If you good quarterback, you got to have decent receiver. Like, everything got to just happen. Like, it just don't, unless you at Clemson, Alabama, everything else is all about timing. If the timing off, it don't matter how good you are. Like, you might not be able to showcase your abilities, and people might, he sucks. No, he don't. He just not. It's not happening for him right now. Right. So that's the thing about the PWO deal is, if you understand that, then go ahead and go do it. But don't go in it not knowing all the things that go into it, and then expect a different result. And then now you like, yo, these coaches trying me. Like, nah, this is what it is.
It's a business for them too. Yeah. It's a business for them too on that side. They got family, so they making the big bucks. It's a business for them too. At the end of the day,
I got an interesting question. Hold on, and I know Savon want to stay away from it. St. Peter's coach, you're DePaul coach.
He's
you probably
dying
want to
for
stay
this.
away. No, I'm not.
I'll answer
That's for later.
I'm not biased, man.
Later,
That's for later.
Let's go, man.
I'm about to stir it up.
Let's go.
We all want to keep it a buck, right?
Yes.
So We touched on the public school.
Yeah.
Right.
In recruitment, right? And my thing that I've been noticing is that a lot of kids that's being told they're too small or they're not good enough at the private schools are bouncing the public schools and getting the very same offers that eluded them at the private school, which leads me to believe it's either A, the public schools are better salesmen, or B, the private schools ain't working hard enough for you. What do you have to say about that? Because I'll give you a perfect example. You take Raheem Ross, for example. He was at Bergen.
Yeah.
Nothing. Bounces to
Irvington,
off on the wood. That type of cachet is supposed to lay in the private schools.
Right.
Because the private schools is supposed to be the giant here. So he ain't play it down for Irvington. So Irvington coach got him that offer based on what he did at Bergen. Why can he get that at Bergen? And this is no knock to Bergen because I'm on the record. I tell Savon all the time, Bergen Catholic is doing the best recruiting in New Jersey right now. I haven't seen another school in New Jersey get an Oklahoma offer.
We playing keep it a buck?
Keep it a buck.
All right, so look, not saying it like, I don't know whether, you got to remember this too, in the real world, I've been seeing it out here. A lot of these offers don't be that real, so it's not committable. Right. So if you notice, I got a little hashtag now. It's called committable offers, and it's not. I'm just keeping it a buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
because
I've
been seeing it lately, and you've been watching it on signing day, and it's some of your best athletes in the state not signing, and that's crazy. That's real too. So I wouldn't take it. You could leave from a public and go to private and might catch some, or might not catch none, or you could be at a private and don't have an offer, right? But like. I'm a realist, so I tell people, I just had this conversation yesterday. With the guy at Westside doing or the next man at this other school doing, don't let that stop you from doing what you're doing. That kid might be 6'2", 185, freak stud, and got everything doing. Or that high school coach may have a relationship so good with that college coach that he's doing him a favor to try to get the ball rolling. And not saying that that's the case.
That's why we got to talk about it. You can't be scared. That's why we got to talk about it.
Keep it a buck.
It's like Greg told, right? So how you were talking about how they had guys that was in the depth of the team still getting offers, because as a college coach, especially a coach that's been at a school for a long period of time. So at DePaul, Coach McKennan's been there for 23 years. So what happens is Coach McKenna may say, hey, I got a 5'10" kid, 289. I don't know. The college coach may say, you know what, coach? I know what kind of kid I'm getting. I'll take him.
Yep.
So things like that happen. And I know that happened a lot with, at Bosco, where it's like, I know what kind of kid I'm getting from Bosco. It don't matter what size he is. I know he's going to be tough. So I know he's going to give me everything he got. It doesn't matter what size, speed, because of the relationship that, Or
you get that bully coach, right, when that school come in.
Oh, yeah.
And he be like, look, if you don't offer him right here, don't come back here again because you won't get him.
That too.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
and then it goes with that. So it's like what you have on the back end that might help that school out and do things like that. So that's why certain situations happen different ways.
Right.
Right. And why you gotta, you tell each and every one of these kids when you're talking to Josh Simmons, is why you gotta trust your own process. Because if you focus on, he got a Rutgers or Alabama offer and I don't got it, but I got this, that might not even be real.
Right.
That might not even be real. And if you look at somebody, I remember last spring I was talking to a coach. I won't disclose the school. But then you got the developmental programs, and then you got the programs who just throw out offers because that's just what they can do.
What do you mean developmental programs?
Programs like the teams where those kids are redshirt freshmen, and they kind of finish throughout their whole year, like Iowa. A school like Iowa or Rutgers or Wisconsin, in Pitt, where those kids are redshirt freshmen, they redshirt, and they don't leave early. They done after 5 years, and you got the dudes that go to schools that are three and done. So in those schools, they just throwing them out like, yo, if you a 4-star, you gonna get these scholarships just off the strength of you a 4-star athlete. That don't mean that you could commit to all those schools because they may already have 2 linebackers in that class. They don't need no more. But public perception is you got that offer back in June. 2 dudes committed in August. You can't even commit there no more. But you still got the offer.
That's called a non-committable offer.
Right.
Committable pound.
But you still have that offer. So if I'm at another school, if he at DePaul and I'm at Prep and one of his linebackers like, yo, so-and-so guy, that's crazy. How come I ain't? he can't commit to that school anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
I was told the college coaches tell you it's a non-committable. Like, I heard a kid tell me, like, it's basically what you said.
Right.
They offer such and such, but it's non-committable.
Yeah, well, it all depends on the schools by school. Every coach does the way they do their own thing. Everybody got their own way of relaying that message and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, you just gotta make sure these kids understand their process, man.
All right, so Coach She, we gotta wrap this up, but I want to ask you, what would you want the public to know, either about DePaul, about picking the school, any topic you choose, man? Leave us with something.
I think that we have to inform the parents and have these conversations with parents so they can understand this side of the fence. Forget me representing DePaul. You know, if I want everybody to come to DePaul, so I'll just throw that out there. But for the masses and just in general, especially when it comes to our young boys, we got to inform the parents on the stuff that's not being talked about, so they have the proper information as far as quote unquote scholarships and things of that nature. Oh, coach, am I getting a scholarship? No, there's no scholarship. That's not how it works. So just little things like
real talk.
I think we all got one of these stories now.
I had a parent say to me, my kid got 4 offers that play on my team.
That's what I'm saying.
I said, to what, Oklahoma State, Ohio State? No, they said, no, the DePaul, Bergen Catholic, and
They ain't say DePaul. They ain't say DePaul.
I said, an offer? How you get an offer to go to high school?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, these conversations that
they picking hats now. They got the stuff.
It's gonna be crazy.
They taking off their shirts.
It's
they
gonna
got
be
t-shirts.
letter of intents in high school.
Nah, but
for you
crazy.
It's gonna be letter of intents coming from soon.
But hold on, y'all want to hear about offers? Like, no lie. Nah, I had a parent out of my youth program walk into Bergen Catholic and tell the administration there that her son was there and he got a football scholarship. The people looked at him like, "What are you talking about?"
They don't have the information. So I think that's what needs to happen is we need to start having real conversations with the parents to inform them, all right, how this process really works. Because a lot of coaches are not going to tell you. It just is what it is. They're not going to tell you. So I think by us doing this podcast and things like that, get the information out to the parents. So now they go into these schools and they know what's up already. They don't have to ask how much money I got a scholarship and things like that. So that's my message to the masses.
All right.
Appreciate you.
That's
Keep
Coach
it a buck, I ain't.
Keep it a buck, 2020 version. With I don't even know what to call you no more. Who are you now, Nas?
Natty Nas 2 times.
All right, so that's Natty Nas 2 times. Savon Huggins to do it. Coach She to DePaul, man. I'm Lenny straight, keep it a buck, man. Just happy to be in y'all company, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
That was great.
We smoke they boots. We smoke they boots.
We need to start having real conversations with the parents to inform them, all right, how this process really works. Because a lot of coaches are not going to tell you. It just is what it is.